Strip club pot deal. If you've read my previous story about the horny 10-year-old, you'd think New Orleans is a pretty bad place to visit. It's really not. You can be safe as long as you listen to your instincts. If something seems off, get out of the situation as best you can. Because of Hurricane Katrina, I no longer live in New Orleans, but I visit periodically because my boyfriend is from there and his family there still. One night, we decided to go to the French Quarter and hit up Bourbon Street. It's probably the only street most people know, and it's pretty much the end of the part most people visit. From Bourbon to the river, it's crowded. North of Bourbon, it's empty. When we got to Bourbon, we split up. He wanted to go to a strip club and I wanted to walk around a bit, pop into some shops, and maybe find a beer that wasn't $9. I wandered around Bourbon, looked at the antique shops on Royal, went down to Decatur and checked out Jackson Square, then looped back up to Bourbon. Took me about a half an hour or so. As I was walking down Bourbon to the strip club, I saw my boyfriend standing out front, waving at me. I walked over to him and he said he was ready to leave, so we started heading back to the car. On the way, he told me about a strange encounter he'd had with some random guy on the street. My boyfriend had gone outside for a smoke a little while earlier. He rolls his cigarettes by hand. He buys a pouch of tobacco and uses rolling papers to make a cigarette. Because of this, a lot of people think it's pot. You don't know how many times we've been asked about it. Evidently, some guy saw him doing this and thought he would be interested in buying some pot. Neither one of us smokes pot, so my boyfriend was not interested. The guy, however, was insistent. "I've got some good stuff, man. Just come around the corner and we'll make a deal." Alarm bells are starting to ring in my boyfriend's head. Generally, drug dealers don't approach you, despite what 80s PSAs would have you believe. You are generally introduced to them by people you know who can vouch for you. Gotta avoid the narcs. My boyfriend refused, again, and the guy pushed some more. "It's real good stuff. I'll give you a great deal. Let's just walk around the corner." My boyfriend did not want to get off of Bourbon and go down the deserted side street the guy suggested. Eventually the guy left him alone, but the experience made him feel uneasy, so he was relieved when I showed up a few minutes later. After he told me about it, he explained his theories on what the deal was with this unprofessional drug dealer. Theory 1 is that there was no pot and the guy was just trying to get him to go to a deserted street so he could mug my boyfriend. Possible. Theory 2 is that there were no drugs and the guy was a cop who wanted to lure my boyfriend off of a crowded street so they could make an arrest without drawing too much attention. Also possible. Theory 3 is that the guy was going to rip him off and sell him some oregano or catnip or some other type of fake weed. I don't think either one of us thought the deal was legit in any way. He was trying way too hard, according to my boyfriend. TL, DR, random guy tries to sell us pot, may have been a cop or mugger.